we saw this class, how to define a class. We say you write public account, the name of the class. The name of the class has to be the same name of the file. We have one instance variable and two methods, right? Let's make this account more. Let's make another instance variable. Any suggestions? Let's make the names, right? We want to make another variable called the name of the holder of the account, yeah? So how to define it? Why I make instance variable private? It cannot be accessed outside. And it should be string. What's the name of the, should be the name, right? Yeah? This is variable, yes. This is called variable or instance variable. So instead of doing one variable, I did two. And we said usually in the account class, in the real bank systems, you have maybe 20 or 30 attributes or variables. Yeah? You can have many. So for this name, I want to make set and get. Can you help me? Public void set name. Does it take something? String name. Can I call it the same name? Yes, but in this case, what should I do? This dot name equal name. Very good, Mashail. Okay, your name is in the video. Yes, her name is in the video now. Okay, so get name. You want your name in the video, Sarah, right? Okay. Public. Public what? Yes, public string. Get name. Nothing inside. Why? Because if you want to get the name, you don't need to give the method any input. And it should do return. No need for this. You can do this dot name, but also no need for this. Yeah. So I create a new instance variable called name, and then we created set method and get method, right? Okay, fine. So now here, when you create a new object A, so you can set balance and then you also can set the name, right? Set the name to what? Mashal. You are very famous now. So, and B, we set the name to Hiba. Okay? So now we have two accounts. The first account has balance 100, Mashal. You are very poor. Second account has 200 for Hiba. Yeah? Now, if you want, you can print the balance. Also you can print the name, like a dot get name. I can do something like this. Then, like plus to make concatenation, right? So maybe something like this. So I write that. We can do format if you want. Yes, it will be even better if you do format. Yeah. As for string, percentage S for string, and you have to make percentage F for double. Yeah. Okay. So you can do the same like here, but here you have to write B. So B and B. Let us run now. What do we expected to have output? Masha'il colon 100 and then Hiba colon 200. Let's see. So this is the output. Let me make it down. Okay, as you see, Masha'il 100, Hiba 200, right? Very good question. If I didn't, let me comment this. I didn't set the name. So what we will get? Null. Yes. Why? Because the default value for instance variable, if it is string, it will be null. Not only string, any reference type. So there are primitive types in Java like integer, double, float, character, boolean. These, by default, they take some value. But if it's string, string is the name of the class, by the way. There is class in Java, it's called string, yeah? So the default for any reference variable is null. The default for double is 0. The default for integer is 0. The default for boolean is false. The default for character is the null character. And yes, that's it.
So the primitive types of variables are the numbers and
the numbers and boolean and characters, yeah. All other things are non-primitive, okay?
the char, its default is also 0?
Not 0, it's the character 0. It's some strange character like this, okay? Something like this, okay? Okay, so now let's improve this class further and make it as constructor. So we said the class consists of three things: instance variables, constructor, and methods. Hamza, why are you silent today? Why are you silent today?
Because I'm thinking.
Okay.
Because
Okay, it's fine. So the class consists of three things. We want to do the constructor. What's the idea of the constructor? So we write the constructor after instance variable. We can write it anywhere, but usually we write it after the variables. The constructor is a special kind of method. What the meaning of special kind of method? It should be public because we want to use it. We use this special method to create objects. Yeah? For example, you write public, same like the method. The constructor does not have return type. So you don't write void and you don't write it returns something. Alaikum salam. So it does not need to specify whether it's void or, because we know it does not return something. And then you just write the name of the constructor. There is a rule. No, the constructor has no void, no. It's not like normal method. The constructor, you don't write void, you don't write it's returning something, because we know it's not returning something. So no need to write void. And if you write void, it's wrong, it's normal method. Another thing about the constructor, the name of the constructor has to be the same as the class name. So I don't have choice to name the constructor. It has to be the class name, yeah? And the rest is like a method. Okay, so I write a constructor here. Okay? So, by the way, this constructor, I didn't write it. Java will write it like this. It calls the default constructor. So if you didn't write any constructor, Java will implicitly write this constructor for you, like hidden. You will not see it, but it will be something like this. And it will be like how this constructor is working. What's the idea of the constructor? The idea of the constructor is to give initial values for the instance variables. Yeah? So by default, if you didn't give initial values here, this will get 0 and this will get null, right? But you can decide to give initial value. For example, if I can decide in this constructor to make balance equal to 100. Let's say, like, if you open a bank account, you get 100 real bonus or something. I can decide to do that. So yes, so you can give default value, and you can also give default name, for example. So the default name, what should be the default name? Muhammad. I can decide to do that, yeah? Their types is this specified here. So we're just giving them values, yeah? We are not defining them.
They have to have the same name as the variable?
Yes, because if you write name 3, it's error, no name 3. I'm using them, I'm giving them values, okay? So now what happens? Let's play. You see the constructor. I create a constructor. The constructor is a special method. It has the same name as the class name. It has no return type, not even void. And the idea of the constructor is you give initial values. So look now. Do you see when you define account, you write account A equal new account? Do you see this? Actually, here you are calling the constructor.
How did it work when we didn't have it?
Huh?
Last time.
Yeah, even we didn't have it, we said Java will make it hidden for you. It will make hidden constructor. You don't see it, but it's there. Yeah? Okay. So that's why when we write a new account, actually we are calling the constructor to give initial value for the variables. And this initial values in the old constructor, what we didn't see, it was just giving them zeros and null and this. Yeah. But now, when we create this, we are calling this constructor what we did, and the initial values will be Muhammad and 100. So let me comment this part. So now if you print this and this, let me run the code. You see it's Muhammad 100. So they are getting initial values. Yeah. Okay. So this is constructor. If I didn't do it, it will be called no argument constructor. Yeah, it has no arguments. And it's giving some other initial values if you want to. Yeah. We can make it 0 as well. But even we didn't write this, it will be 0 by default. But the constructor gives you the chance to give initial values. Not only this, you can make another constructor if you want. The other constructor, it has to be public again. What the name should be? The same as the class account. So this is kind of constructor overloading. Two constructors with the same name, they have to be the same name. But I can decide here to give some parameters. Like I will say give me name, like give me a double or string name. Let's start with string name and double balance. So this constructor is receiving initial name, taking input, initial name and initial balance, taking input from the caller. So what we will do here usually? No. The idea of the constructor is to give initial values. So what should be the name? The name, this, I should store this name and this name. Same like set. Yeah? So this dot name, very good, Mashal. This dot name is name. This dot balance is balance. So why I'm doing this, I'm giving the other class another option, another version of the constructor. So if you want to create object, you have two options now. Either you call account, no argument, and it will get Muhammad 100. Or, let's see, by default you are getting Muhammad 100. There is another option if you want. You can give me the name here. Who want to see his name in the video? Sarah? Okay. Sarah. So Sarah, how much money you have in that account? 500. Okay. So now I create another object, but because of the this nice constructor, I give the initial values directly. So when you create a new account, you give the name and the initial balance. So now let us print. It should print here Sarah and 500. So as you see the new constructor now give you more options. So now I have two ways to create object. Whether you don't give anything and it will take the default value that you decide here, or you give something, so you give some values and the object will take these values. Yeah, this is nice option, right? You can make as many constructors as you want. For example, you can decide to make a constructor that take name without balance, or take balance without name, or whatever, yeah? Okay? One thing to notice, if I deleted this constructor, can I delete this constructor? Normally, yes. Yeah? No? Normally, yes, I can delete this constructor. I want just one constructor. But if you delete this constructor, you get here error. Why? Because say, you make in the class, if you want to make object, you should give the name and the balance. There is no option to give nothing. But we said normally Java will make for you constructor. But Java only make this if there is no constructor at all. If there is only one constructor, Java will say, okay, it's you decided to make one constructor, and you decided that this constructor should not take any values, or should take some values. So this default constructor now is deleted from Java. So you cannot, if you make something like this, it will be error. Yeah. But what's the recommended thing? The recommended thing is that you write constructor, and you write many types of constructor. One, no argument constructor to give initial values. Maybe you decide them to be like this. And another constructor that you give values as initial values, right?
In which constructor can we ask the user to input?
Usually you ask the user to input here, for example. So you make here scanner in the main class. You make scanner, you ask the user to enter the name and the balance, and then you pass the variable here. So you write here x and y, and x is y you read from the user. Okay? So that's constructor, give him some values, he will create object with these values. Yeah? It's your responsibility to make scanner and this kind of stuff. Clear?
Doctor, the default constructor, if you don't have any constructors, can it allow me to put multiple values like Muhammad
No.
and Sarah, or just one?
No. The default constructor, let's see again. If you delete all the constructor, like we did last time, so Java will create a constructor like this. And actually this constructor will be like, it will make balance 0 by default and name null. But if you did this, then you cannot call a constructor with the values, right? Because there is no there is only one constructor that do nothing. Yeah. By default, Java will do it for you. Okay. But as we said, the recommended thing is to make many constructors. One with no argument and one if you have the values. Yeah. Clear what constructor is? Okay. So now we have actually complete class. We have balance, we have account, constructors, and we have methods. Let's add some method as well. We want to add method called deposit. We said the method is like operation. We want to make operation in the account. We want to write a new method called deposit. Can you help me in this method? Public. Huh? Deposit, does it return something? You can decide to, but usually it does not, right? Void deposit. Deposit like you give money in the bank. You ida. Yeah? There is withdraw and deposit in the bank, yeah? Okay, so public void deposit. What does it take? Does it take something? Huh? Yes. So it takes the amount you want to give. So double amount, right? What should I do inside this deposit? I make this is input coming. Anyone who want to deposit, he has to tell me I want to deposit 100. No, the deposit will change the value of what? The balance, yeah. So what should I write? I don't need, there is no conflict here. I write balance equal amount. If you have 1,000 in the bank and you make deposit 100, how much you will have balance? Increment, yeah. So balance should be equal to,
Plus equals.
yeah, very good. Plus equal amount. Or balance equal balance plus amount, right? Makes sense? Please open bank accounts, yeah? You have zero knowledge about banks. Okay? So deposit will add the amount that you want. Let's play now with the objects. Uh, so here by default it will be Muhammad and where is Muhammad? I make the default value here Muhammad and let me make it 100 the default. So here I create two accounts, one Muhammad with 100, Sarah with 500, yeah? After I create Sarah with 500, so Sarah decide to make deposit, let's say 100. So what it will be printed here? 600, right? Let's check, yes, 600, okay? Yes. Object for printing or method for printing. Yes, this is a good question. We will talk about this in next chapter. It's not method, but for printing, but it's called toString method. We will talk about it. Okay. Any question so far? It's clear what we are doing here. So now we create like two objects. We use two constructors and we play with the methods if you want. You know, set balance, set names, deposit, and get names. You know, clear what we are doing now? Okay, if it's clear, let's go to the slide fast and explain things. So here, as we said, like these are primitive data types. Sarah, you asked me about primitive data type. These are primitive data type. They get value in like byte, character, short, int, long, float, double. They are always take the default value of 0. The boolean take the default value of false. But I can change. I can decide like the initial value. I decided like 10. Yeah. And the string will take null by default, right? And then each class can declare optionally provide a constructor with parameter that can be used to initialize object. Java require constructor call for each object to be created. When you create a new object, actually you are calling one of the constructors, right? So let me see, this is like modified the class. This is more or less similar to, so here we create one constructor that take a name and we write this dot name equal to name, right? This is one constructor. So this is like in the main method now, because I have constructor that get a name, I created new object. The first one with the name Jane Green, the second one with the name John Blue. Okay? And then here when I print the name, I print the account names. Okay? So constructor cannot return values. Java will make for you default constructor. If a class does not define constructor, the compiler will provide a default constructor with no parameters, and the class instance variable are initialized to their default value. There is no default constructor in a class that declare a constructor. If you create your own constructor, Java will not create for you default constructor. Okay? As we saw in the code. Okay. You can have 10 constructors if you want. But if you did at least one constructor, Java will not make a constructor for you. But if you don't have any constructor, Java will say you are poor. Java will make for you at least one constructor.
If I want to get the information of 15 people, I have to make 15 constructors?
No. You can use same constructor to create this 15 people, right? It's just the constructor give you options how to create objects. But I can use the same constructor to create 15 people. Here is the UML. So like we talk about UML. The new thing is that if you want to make constructor, you write constructor account name string. Yeah. So this shows that we have one instance variable, one constructor, and two methods. Yeah. This is how to do it in UML. Okay. Now we want to modify the class and create two instance variable. So now we created name and we also created balance. We created a constructor that take two, name and the balance, same like we did. The new things here, he's checking the balance. So if you give him like stupid balance in the constructor, like minus 100, what he's doing here? Yeah, is not less than 0. If it's 0 or less, what the balance will take? So if you write here in the balance minus 100, what the balance will take? Nothing. So what will be the value of the balance? 0. It will take the default value because if you didn't give balance any value, it will take the default value. So balance will be 0. Here we make a method called deposit. It's take the amount. We did this method, right? And also here we are checking. If deposit greater than 0, we will do the deposit because it's minus. You cannot make deposit with minus. That's contrary. That's why if it's minus, we will ignore it. We will not change anything in the balance, right? And here we have set name, yeah, and also get name and so on. So we have account test. We created two objects with the same constructor, as you see, Sarah. I have one constructor, but I create two people, with the same constructor. This constructor take a name and balance. Here I try to make minus, but I think it will take 0. It will not take the minus. So I print get balance for both. And here I'm making deposit for them from the scanner. So like first, Jane Green has 50, John Blue has 0. I ask for the deposit. For account 1, it was 25.3. So we add 25.3 for this account. If we print again, we will get 75.53 and 0. Yeah, you see the balance. And we ask for a deposit for account 2. It was deposit this amount, and then we updated the account. Yes.
For the checking if it's less than 0, can you go to it? In the if, we didn't write a comment, we just said if like this.
Where in the deposit? Yes, this one. Yes, we write if.
What does balance plus equals deposit? What is this?
This means increase the balance by the deposit amount. So if you have 1,000 and you deposit 100, I want to increase the balance, the 1,000 by 100.
And we don't need else?
No, because else I will not do anything. Yeah, I decide not to do anything.
Why didn't we put it in the method before? Like, when you do if else, why do you do two different methods?
This is, which method you mean?
The one before,
The one before is constructor. It's two things. So here, if you create object, let me go to the other class. When you create object, you can make minus. You are stupid and you make minus. Not you, Michelle. It's on the video, sorry. Okay. Now, if you make deposit, you can also be stupid and make minus here. So you need two if, one in the method and one in the constructor to check. Yeah. Any other stupid question? No. Okay. Yeah, we just say like now after we may have two variables, we have two variables, they are private. And UML, we have one constructor and we have deposit, we have get balance, set balance, get name. Yeah. So that's it, just one example in the slide. So any question?